She was the kind of person who only wanted what she couldn't have. The second she had it, she lost interest. The second she couldn't, it became an obsession. Me, the snake Kevin Shun, and Chloe Hayes, we were supposed to be best friends. We made a pact. No matter who Chloe ended up with, the other two would still be friends. In my last life, I laid my heart out for her, only for Kevin to cut in and confess his own feelings moments before I could. Chloe chose me, but she was saddled with a lingering guilt for Kevin, keeping him around as her guy best friend. I had no idea that decision would become my living nightmare. The snake was a constant, venomous presence, and Chloe always took his side. Then I woke up. As Kevin stepped in front of me again, ready to hijack my moment, I didn't hesitate. I let him have it. I gave him my blessing. This time, I'll be the guy best friend. And oh, how sweet it is. The tables have turned. Now it's my turn to ask your girlfriend for favors, isn't it? After all, she's not my girlfriend. So if I push a little too hard, what's the problem? I'm going to walk the snake's path, and I'm going to enjoy every damn step. Chloe, from the first moment I saw you, I was captivated by your smile. I know I might not be perfect, but please, give me a chance to take care of you. The familiar words hit me like a physical blow. I snapped my eyes open. I was back, reborn in the exact moment I was about to be sabotaged by that snake. Kevin Shun? Chloe, my girlfriend from a past life, was standing in the middle of a heart I'd painstakingly laid out in rose petals on the rooftop bar. She wore a simple white dress that glowed in the city lights. And me, I was holding a bouquet of her favorite champagne roses. This scene, my pupils constricted, my heart hammering against my ribs. I recognized this soul-crushing memory instantly. Last time, right here, after I followed up with my own heartfelt confession, Chloe chose me. But in the same breath, she promised Kevin they would stay best friends. That single decision was the first thread in a tragic tapestry that eventually strangled the life out of all three of us. Leo, are you spacing out? Chloe asked, blinking playfully when I didn't move. Kevin had to say, what about you? Is there something you wanted to tell me? A few of our coworkers who had gathered to watch started egging me on. Go on, Leo. Tell her how you feel. My gaze drifted past her to Kevin, standing just behind her shoulder. He wore a mask of nervous tension from his big speech, but deep in his eyes, I saw it, a flicker of defiance, a glint of someone ready to enjoy the show. He knew Chloe and I were on the verge of something real. This was a calculated move, designed purely to screw with me. Huh! A cold laugh echoed in my mind. Every memory came flooding back with pristine clarity. Chloe's fatal flaw of romanticizing what she'd lost, her endless, infuriating defense of Kevin out of some misplaced guilt, Kevin's constant, insidious sabotage, and my own pathetic, tragic end. This time, I wouldn't give either of them the satisfaction. A wry smile touched my lips. As Chloe watched in stunned silence, I walked straight past her, right up to Kevin, and shoved the bouquet of champagne roses into his bewildered arms. Me? I shrugged, my voice casual. I was just helping Kevin set up. Moral support. I clapped him on the shoulder, then turned to a completely frozen Chloe, my smile widening as I announced to the small crowd. Congratulations, you too. A storybook ending. For a second, the entire rooftop went silent. Chloe was speechless. Kevin was floored. He had a whole arsenal of manipulative, pity-me lines ready to deploy after my confession, and now they were all useless. He stood there clutching my flowers, not knowing whether to hold on to them or drop them, his expression a comical mix of shock and confusion. Wait, no, Leo, Chloe stammered, her composure crumbling. All of this, you set up, wasn't it for, this? I gestured vaguely at the rose petals and the fairy lights I'd strung up. Yeah, I did it for Kevin. He's my boy, Had to help him make a good impression. I looked back at Kevin. What do you think, man? Did I set the stage right or what? A wave of pure joy washed over Kevin's face. Yeah, man. It's perfect. Great. That'll be $250 for the supplies. Venmo me when you get a chance, I said. Right now, he immediately sent me $300. I nodded, satisfied, and turned my attention back to a pale-faced Chloe. He's a good guy, Chloe. You two take care of each other. And if he ever messes with you, I'll be the first one to knock him out. Without another glance at either of them, I gave a casual wave and walked away. The setting sun felt warm and real on my skin. From now on, I was the one writing the script. Game on. I was practically whistling as I left the rooftop bar. I hadn't gotten far when I heard hurried footsteps behind me. Leo. Leo, wait up. It was Chloe. What's up, Chloe? I stopped and turned, a friendly smile fixed on my face. Shouldn't you be with your new boyfriend? She came to a stop in front of me, her chest rising and falling, her face a mask of pure indignation, like I'd just stolen her wallet. Leo, what was that back there? That was me being happy for you guys. Kevin's had a crush on you for ages. He finally worked up the nerve to say something, and it worked out. As your friend, shouldn't I be thrilled? But you always. She started, her voice urgent. You were so good to me. You stayed up all night helping me study for my finals. You remembered every little thing I liked. You took care of me when I was sick. Was all of that, just as a friend. So you didn't notice, I thought. And you were happy to have two guys fawning over you. You knew I liked you, and you still let that snake manipulate the situation? Of course, Chloe. You're one of my best friends. Isn't that what friends do? Her expression faltered. The easy confidence she usually wore cracked, and for a moment, she just looked lost. I felt nothing. It was almost funny. Just friends. Yeah. I countered. You don't think so? She just stood there, her eyes darting around as if searching for an answer. I just thought. She trailed off, unable to finish. You thought what? I chuckled, shaking my head. Chloe, are you saying friends can't care about each other? That's a dangerous way to think. Kevin might get jealous. The light in her eyes completely dimmed. She looked down at the sidewalk. So what about what I said before? That no matter who I ended up with, the other one would be my guy best friend. Of course, I said, my tone deadly serious. I'll always be your best friend. Always have been. Always will be. Your best guy friend. Are you kidding me? If I didn't take that role, this whole rebirth would be a waste. Chloe looked up, her expression a mess of conflicting emotions. She opened her mouth to say something, then closed it again. Hey, don't overthink it. I reached out and patted her shoulder like a bro. Go on back. Kevin's waiting for you. It's not a good look to leave your brand new boyfriend hanging. With that, I turned and walked away, not giving her another chance to argue. She didn't follow me this time. The sun was perfect. The breeze was light. I took a deep breath of free air, and my soul felt like it was soaring. Enjoy the love I gifted you, Kevin. And Chloe, get ready to learn a hard lesson. You always want the one you can't have. This game is just getting started. Not long after I got home, my phone buzzed. A message from Chloe. Leo, I'm sorry if today was awkward. Are we really going to be able to be like we were before? I let out a short, sharp laugh and typed back. Of course we are. We made a pact, remember? Best friend for life. Don't sweat it. Seeing you and Kevin together genuinely makes me happy. After sending it, I ignored any follow-ups and immediately created a new group chat on WhatsApp. With a wicked sense of humor, I named it the Three Musketeers. Then, I added Chloe and Kevin. The moment the group was created, Chloe sent a single question mark emoji. I typed out a grand welcome message. Let's hear it from my two best friends finally getting together. This group is now officially founded to protect your love and provide the most dedicated relationship consulting services on the market. I tagged Kevin. At Kevin Shun, you better be good to her, man. Otherwise, you'll have me to answer to. Chloe replied with a blushing emoji. It took a while for Kevin to surface. When he finally did, it was with a terse K. I could practically feel his suspicion and resentment through the screen. I didn't care. I immediately started dropping links into the chat like a seasoned pro. At Kevin Shun, check this out. Top 10 most Instagrammable spots for couples. Take Chloe this weekend. Heard this new tapas place has an amazing vibe for a date night. The new rom-com just dropped and it has great reviews. I already bought you 2 tickets for Saturday night, screenshot attached. You're welcome. I was playing the part of the overly enthusiastic, borderline obsessive wingman who was living vicariously through them. Chloe's replies were full of gratitude. Leo, you're the sweetest. Finally, Kevin couldn't take it anymore. A private message from him popped up. Leo, what the hell is your game? We're doing this on purpose. I could almost hear his teeth grinding. What game? I messaged back. I'm helping you, dude. Girls like effort, romance. I'm giving you the playbook. You should be thanking me. I don't need your help. He shot back instantly. TSK. I sent a head-shaking emoji. No good deed goes unpunished, I guess. Fine, I'll stop. Let Chloe think you're just some boring guy with no imagination. That clearly hit a nerve. The typing bubble on his end appeared and disappeared for a solid minute. Finally, he spat out a single sentence. Do whatever you want. I put my phone down and hummed a cheerful tune. See how fun this is. The more generous and helpful I appear, the more on edge Kevin becomes. He can't call me out because everything I say is from a moral high ground of support a friend. And Chloe, she's obviously touched by my selfless dedication, which only makes Kevin's sullen silence look petty and ungrateful. The Three Musketeers was the stage I built just for them. And on this stage, I would play the role of the perfect guy best friend, slowly feeding Kevin back every single toxic trick he ever pulled on me. This was just the appetizer. The main course was yet to come. 4. The purity test under my diligent guidance. The Three Musketeers group chat became a permanent fixture in Chloe and Kevin's relationship. I remained the most enthusiastic, thoughtful guy best friend, sharing daily tips on dating and must-visit spots. Chloe always responded positively, while Kevin's silence grew more and more conspicuous. A few nights later, guessing they had just finished a date, I sent Chloe a private message. So, how was the date tonight? /smirk. A few minutes passed before she replied. It was fine. We saw a movie, got dinner. What's wrong? You don't sound too thrilled. I added a concerned emoji. It's nothing. It's just, Kevin seems a little rushed. I sent back a question mark emoji. Rushed how? You know, with physical stuff. He kept trying to hold my hand, and tonight, he tried to kiss me. I just feel like it's too soon. It made me uncomfortable, so I pulled away. A new development. I immediately sent a series of voice notes. Chloe, that is a completely normal way to feel. Listen to me, you did the right thing. You cannot let him think you're an easy win. Trust me, guys are all the same. The easier something is to get, the less they appreciate it. I carefully excluded myself from the generalization, positioning myself as an objective expert. I'm a guy, Chloe. I know exactly how we think. True love can stand a little testing. If he really loves you, he will respect your boundaries, not just focus on what he wants. You need to make him understand that you're not just some girl he can rush into things with. He needs to earn your trust and your heart with patience and real effort. Chloe was silent for a moment. You're right. I felt like it was too fast, too. But I don't know how to say no without sounding like a prude. What's so hard about it? I offered a solution. Just be direct with him. Tell him you want a probationary period. Say, 3 months? Tell him that for the next 3 months, you two need to build a deeper emotional connection. No hand-holding, no kissing, nothing like that for a while. If he can't even handle that, then his feelings for you are pretty cheap, don't you think? 3 months? Isn't that a little long? She asked, hesitant. Long. I countered immediately. You're talking about the rest of your life. What's 3 months? This is the perfect way to see if he's serious about you. Chloe, you deserve the best. You deserve someone who will cherish and respect you. Don't sell yourself short. My speech was a masterclass and I'm just looking out for you. It clearly worked. Okay, Leo, you're right. I can't just go along with it. I know what to do now. Thank you, Leo. You always know exactly what to say. Reading that last line, you always know exactly what to say. A mocking smile spread across my face. Of course I do. As expected, it wasn't long before I got the victory report from Chloe. She had successfully implemented the 3-month probationary period, forbidding any physical intimacy beyond what was appropriate for friends. I could just imagine the look on Kevin's face when he heard that little decree. I put down my phone, feeling a deep sense of satisfaction. This was only the beginning. Enjoy your new, pure love journey, Kevin. I tailored it just for you. 5. Sunset Ridge. In the following days, Chloe would still share snippets of her life in the Three Musketeers chat. Kevin would occasionally reply with a one-word answer. I knew he was stewing. Sure enough, that Friday night, Chloe messaged me privately, a hint of excitement in her tone. Kevin said he's taking me hiking at Sunset Ridge tomorrow. He said he has a surprise planned. Sunset Ridge? I raised an eyebrow and immediately opened my weather app. Just as I thought. The forecast for the Sunset Ridge area showed thunderstorms for the next afternoon. The perfect opportunity. Sunset Ridge is beautiful. He's got good taste. /smirk, but looks like the weather might be a little unstable tomorrow. Did he have a backup plan? Seems like a bit of an oversight. I replied. What? Rain, she messaged back, worried. My app says it's supposed to be sunny in the city. Mountain weather is unpredictable, I said breezily. Hopefully I'm wrong, and you guys have a great time. But you should probably pack an umbrella, just in case. Okay, thanks for the heads up. You're always so thoughtful. Thoughtful? Of course. After all, I came back with a strategy guide. The next afternoon, I timed it perfectly, driving out and parking on the side of the road, not far from the base of Sunset Ridge. The sky was already a bruised gray, and the wind carried the damp scent of an imminent downpour. Right on cue, a massive storm rolled in. I gave Chloe a call. Hey, it's starting to pour. How are you guys holding up? Her voice on the other end was strained with panic. Leo, it's really coming down, a total deluge. We're stuck halfway up the trail with nowhere to hide. Kevin went on ahead to. I could hear the rumble of thunder and Kevin's faint shouting in the background. Wow, really? Kevin just left you there to go do what? No, we want to try and buy an umbrella, Chloe explained. Never mind that. Tell me roughly where you are. I interrupted. I'm actually nearby for a work thing. I'm coming up to get you. After hanging up, I grabbed the large black umbrella I'd brought, opened it, and started walking up the trail at a calm pace. It didn't take long to find them. They were a pathetic sight. Kevin was soaked to the bone, trying pathetically to shield Chloe with his thin jacket. Her dress was plastered to her skin, and she was shivering, a look of pure misery and annoyance on her face. Chloe, I called out, striding toward them. I held my umbrella over her head and simultaneously shoved another, still wrapped umbrella into Kevin's hand. Come on, let's get you down the mountain. My car's right at the bottom. The moment Chloe saw me, her eyes welled up, and she instinctively moved closer to my side. Kevin took the umbrella, his face a thundercloud. What are you doing here? He asked, his eyes burning into mine. I was meeting a client out this way. When I finished, I saw the storm rolling in and remembered you guys were here. I was worried, so I came to check, I said, shielding Chloe as we started walking down. I lowered my voice, speaking gently to Chloe, but loudly enough for Kevin to hear. See, I told you mountain weather was fickle. Some people don't even think to check the forecast. How's he supposed to take care of you if he can't even do that? Chloe tensed up. Leo, don't say that. It wasn't Kevin's fault. Doesn't matter whose fault it is. My best friend is miserable, and that's not okay, I retorted. Kevin's knuckles were white as he gripped the umbrella I'd given him. His chest heaved, but he couldn't say a word. What could he say? Accuse me of showing up to save the day? Any argument would just make him look weak and petty. I helped Chloe into the passenger seat of my Jeep, carefully buckling her seatbelt and handing her a dry towel I'd brought along. In the rearview mirror, I saw Kevin's face, dark and dripping, his eyes locked on me with pure hatred. I offered a small, knowing smile and focused on the road ahead. After the Sunset Ridge debacle, Chloe's posts in the Three Musketeers group chat became less frequent. Kevin went completely silent. I knew that storm hadn't just soaked their clothes. It had extinguished the tiny spark of hope Chloe had for their pure love journey. It was time to introduce a new stimulus. That weekend, I called her directly. Chloe, you free today? I want to take you somewhere fun. I promise it'll be better than getting caught in a rainstorm. She sounded lethargic, but she agreed. I didn't tell her where we were going, just to dress up a little. While I pulled up to Aura, the exclusive private kitchen known for its artistic tasting menus and a month-long waiting list, Chloe's eyes lit up. Oh my God, Leo, is this the place? I've been trying to get a reservation here for ages. The gloom that had been hanging over her vanished, replaced by genuine excitement. I held the door open for her with a gentlemanly smile. A friend had to cancel last minute and gave me a spot. I figured you could use a pick-me-up after last week. The restaurant's interior was minimalist and elegant, each table feeling like its own private world. I ordered with confidence, explaining the inspiration behind each dish as it arrived. Chloe was captivated, taking pictures of almost every plate, her eyes wide with wonder and delight. This is how life should be, right? I said, raising my glass of iced tea in a toast. You have to treat yourself every once in a while. She nodded enthusiastically, her face glowing. After dinner, since it was still early, I took her to a small, independent gallery tucked away in the city's historic district. It was hosting a powerful installation exhibit by a young local artist, quiet, intimate, and profoundly moving. We walked through the spaces of intersecting light and shadow, talking about art, life, and all the beautifully abstract things in between. My insights weren't groundbreaking, but they were enough to make her see things in a new way. "Leo, you know so much about so many things," she said, looking at me with a newfound admiration. "It feels like every time I'm with you, I discover something new." I just smiled and let the comment hang in the air. On the drive back, Chloe was still buzzing, excitedly scrolling through the photos on her phone. Just then, her phone rang. It was Kevin. She hesitated for a beat before answering. "Hey, yeah, I just had dinner with Leo. We went to this new restaurant and an art gallery. You wouldn't know it. Tomorrow? I don't know, I'm kind of tired. I'll let you know." After hanging up, she let out a soft sigh and muttered under her breath, almost to herself, he wanted to go see that new superhero blockbuster tomorrow. She didn't even realize she'd said it with a tone of complete disinterest. I kept my eyes on the road, a slight smile playing on my lips. Mission accomplished. The experiences I gave her weren't impossibly lavish, but they were carefully chosen to elevate her standards for what a date could be. The next time Kevin suggested dinner and a movie, it would feel bland, uninspired. It's easy to get used to luxury, but hard to go back to basics. The same principle applies to love. And that feeling of almost but not quite was exactly what I was aiming for. As for the cost, the dinner was pricey, but I considered it an investment. An investment I was sure Kevin would eventually repay with interest. The plan was working perfectly. Chloe and Kevin's phone calls grew shorter, and her voice dripped with an unconcealed weariness whenever she mentioned his name. It was time for a stronger dose. Kevin had managed to snag hard-to-get tickets for the amusement park, a big date planned for Saturday. On Friday night, just after 10, I sent Chloe a voice message. I made sure my voice was raspy and weak. "Chloe, you awake? I think I have a fever. There's no medicine in the house. I feel so weak. Could you possibly bring me some Tylenol?" After sending it, I tossed my phone aside and casually went to the kitchen to make myself a cup of tea. Sure enough, less than 5 minutes later, my phone started vibrating wildly. It was Chloe. I let it ring a few times before answering, letting out a faint, shaky hello. "Leo, what's wrong? Are you okay? Is it serious?" Her voice was laced with panic. "No, I'm fine," I said, punctuated by a couple of weak coughs. "Just really dizzy. Probably just a small fever. I'm so sorry to bother you this late." "You wait right there. I'm coming over." She hung up before I could even pretend to object. I listened to the dial tone, a triumphant smile on my face. Hook, line, and sinker. 20 minutes later, she was at my door. "Leo, how are you feeling?" She rushed in and immediately pressed the back of her hand to my forehead. "You feel warm." "Definitely a fever," she said worriedly, pulling a thermometer and a bottle of pills from her purse. "Here, take your temperature. I'll get you some water." Watching her bustle around my small apartment, finding a glass, pouring water, her brow furrowed with genuine concern, it was a scene straight out of my past life. A shame that the man she was caring for was no longer the same. I obediently took my temperature, 100. 2° F. A low-grade fever, just as planned. "Okay, not too high," she said, relieved. She handed me the water and pills. "Here, take these." I took the pills from her, looking up with a weak smile. "Thank you, Chloe. I don't know what happened. I just suddenly really wanted to see you." I delivered the lines softly, with just the right amount of vulnerable dependency. Chloe froze, a faint blush creeping up her cheeks. She met my gaze for a second before quickly looking away. Don't be ridiculous. You're sick. Just take your medicine and get some rest." Just then, her phone rang. It was Kevin. She glanced at the screen and immediately declined the call. "All right," I said, my voice full of apology. "You two have the amusement park tomorrow. I'm so sorry. I'm ruining your plans." "I'm fine, really. You should go home. Don't keep Kevin waiting." The more I pushed her away, the more determined she was to stay. "No," she said, shaking her head firmly. "You're sick like this. How can I leave? The amusement park can wait." As if on cue, Kevin called again. This time, she picked up her phone and shut it off completely. "There. Now you can rest without any interruptions," she said, forcing a smile. "I'll stay until your fever breaks." I leaned back on the couch, watching her move around my apartment, a placid calm settling over me. On the other end of that deadline, Kevin was probably losing his mind. His carefully planned date, ruined before it even began by a conveniently timed fever. And this was only the start. My dear friend, everything you stole from me, I will make you hand it back, piece by agonizing piece. On Saturday morning, my fever was gone. I sent Chloe a text to let her know I was fine, along with another sincere apology for messing up her date. She replied that it was no problem, but her tone was distracted. Around noon, the long-dormant Three Musketeers chat exploded. Kevin tagged me directly, firing off a series of furious voice messages. Leo, what the hell is your game? You never get sick. Why now? The one day we had plans for the amusement park. Chloe turned her phone off to take care of you. Do you have any idea how long I waited? How worried I was? Who are you trying to fool? Don't think I don't know exactly what you're doing. Every word was an accusation. Before I could even respond, Chloe jumped in. Kevin, that's enough. Leo is really sick. Why do you have to be so cruel? Cruel? Don't you see what he's doing? You can't be that naive. Kevin was clearly spiraling, his texts filled with rage. What kind of guy calls his friend's girlfriend for help in the middle of the night? He's a manipulative snake. The word snake, coming from Kevin's mouth, almost made me laugh out loud. The irony was just too rich. I took my time, composing a response that was the perfect blend of innocence and hurt. Kevin, how could you think that about me? I thought we were friends. I was really feeling terrible last night, and there was no one else I could call. I know I messed up your date, and I'm truly sorry. I've already apologized to Chloe, but I honestly didn't have any other motive. I just want Chloe to be happy. I want you both to be happy. Is that so wrong? The chat went dead silent. My performance of a wounded dove had left Kevin speechless. He was probably shaking with rage, completely disarmed by my faux sincerity. After a long pause, he finally managed to spit out a reply. Leo, cut the act. I immediately followed up, playing the victim. I thought you were my best friends. Why would you think so badly of me? If I did something to make you misunderstand, just tell me. I'll change, I promise. Then, for the finishing blow, I used the classic line he had thrown in my face countless times in our previous life. Kevin, Chloe, and I are just friends. Thinking anything else. Don't you think you're being a little insecure? That was it. A silent, fatal blow. The word insecure was the nail in his coffin. Chloe immediately came to my defense. Kevin, you've gone too far. Leo has done nothing but help us, and this is how you talk to him. I'm so disappointed in you. I think you're the one who's insecure. You need to calm down. Let's not talk for the rest of the day. And with that, she went silent. The group chat was a graveyard. I looked at my own messages, dripping with cloying sweetness, and put my phone down, completely satisfied. Payback's a bitch, isn't it, Kevin? How does it feel to be taken down by your own signature moves? The seeds of doubt after I turned the tables on Kevin in the group chat. He was left completely on the defensive. Chloe initiated a cold war with him. I knew the time was right. Feeling any better? Want to grab a coffee and talk? I texted Chloe. Yes, she replied instantly. At the coffee shop, Chloe looked exhausted, her mood heavy. Still fighting with Kevin? I asked softly. She sighed, a wave of frustration washing over her. Leo, I don't get how he became like this. He doesn't trust me at all, and the things he said about you. After you've done nothing but help us. I met her gaze, my expression gentle and focused, making her feel like the most misunderstood person in the world. Then, I let out a soft sigh of my own and began my performance. Chloe, don't be too hard on him, I said, my tone sincere as I seemingly defended him. He's probably just scared of losing you. Chloe looked up, confused. Sometimes, when people care too much, it comes out the wrong way. I continued slowly. He's afraid, so he's acting possessive and lashing out at me. Your guy best friend? It sounded like I was making excuses for Kevin, but in reality, I was painting him as insecure and controlling. Chloe's brow furrowed. I leaned in slightly, pressing my advantage. I've always believed that real love isn't about possession. It's about wanting the other person to be happy, even if the person by their side isn't you. I looked directly into her eyes, my voice laced with hypnotic suggestion. If I really had other intentions, why would I have pushed you towards him in the first place? Her eyes flickered. I had her. So, I sighed again, feigning a deep sadness. I think maybe he just doesn't understand what real love is. That line was a splinter designed to lodge itself deep in her mind. Then, I changed tactics, my gaze turning distant, my voice tinged with loneliness. Maybe I'm the only one in the world who truly understands you, the only one who just wants you to be happy. I delivered the line slowly, making sure every word landed. Chloe's head snapped up, her eyes a chaotic mix of gratitude, hurt, and the panicked recognition of a hidden truth. A blush crept up her cheeks, and she quickly broke eye contact. "Leo, don't say that," she whispered, completely flustered. I knew the seed had been planted. After all, she had been interested in me from the start, maybe even more so than Kevin. My sudden withdrawal had only amplified her resentment toward Kevin, the one who had inadvertently cost her the better option. It was a perfect, calculated move designed specifically for her personality. In the days that followed, I subtly reinforced these ideas. When Kevin was busy with work and slow to text back, I'd comment, "It just seems like you're not his first priority." When he tried to apologize for his outburst, I'd say, "I just don't think he'll ever be able to understand a purely platonic friendship like ours." When Chloe mentioned something nice Kevin had done, I'd offer a placid smile and say, "I hope he's finally starting to get it." My words were like water torture, slowly eroding the already crumbling foundation of her faith in Kevin. I watched as her gaze shifted from annoyance to scrutiny and finally to contempt. And the way she looked at me, with more and more trust. The framework was in place. The manipulation was taking root. This was about more than just winning an argument. This was about dismantling him from the inside out. At the end of their 3-month probationary period was approaching. For days, Kevin had been dropping hints on his social media, vague posts about a big surprise in the works and counting down to a special day. He was clearly planning a grand gesture to win Chloe back. Even though Chloe was still angry with him, you could tell she was a little curious. A girl's weakness for romantic effort. The night before their anniversary, she messaged me, "Leo, what do you think Kevin is planning? He's been so secretive." I smirked at the screen. I knew Kevin's playbook inside and out. Through a mutual friend, I found out that Chloe had recently mentioned wanting a star projector for her room. Kevin's big plan was to take her to a scenic overlook outside the city and surprise her with a cheap, artificial night sky. Tacky and utterly predictable. "He sounds like he's really trying," I texted back. "He's probably got something super romantic planned." /smirk, don't worry. I'm sure he learned his lesson. The next morning, Kevin tagged me in the group chat. "At Leo Vance, bro, do me a solid and don't make any plans with Chloe tonight. I've got something major lined up." "You got it. Total support. The anniversary is sacred. Need any help?" I replied enthusiastically. Kevin seemed pleased with my cooperation. "Nope. All taken care of. Top secret location. Just need you to lay low. I'll buy you a beer after." "You're the man." I praised him. Then I casually added, "By the way, isn't today the last day of that Monet in motion exhibit at the art museum?" I remember Chloe was bummed she couldn't get tickets. "Too bad you guys have plans. She would have loved it." I sent the message and immediately closed the app. Less than 30 minutes later, my phone rang. It was Chloe, her voice buzzing with excitement. "Leo, what you said about the Monet exhibit, is it really the last day? Are you sure it's the real stuff?" "Yeah," I said, pausing for effect. "They have a few of his smaller original canvases on display. I actually pulled some strings and managed to get 2 tickets. I was going to surprise you with them. But it's fine. Kevin has his big plans." "No, I want to go," she cut me off. "That exhibit is way more important than some secret spot. I'll deal with Kevin." "Are you sure?" I feigned reluctance. "I mean, Kevin went to all this trouble." "I'm sure," she insisted. "His secret spot can wait. The exhibit ends today. Leo, will you please take me?" Checkmate. I wasn't the one asking her out. His own girlfriend was choosing me over him. I suppressed a smile, my voice laced with a mix of resignation and affection. "All right, you win. But you have to be the one to tell Kevin." "Okay. I don't want him blaming me again." "If you're sure. I'll see you at the museum entrance at 2. "Yes. See you then." That afternoon, I met Chloe at the museum. She looked radiant in an elegant sundress, her face lit up with joy. The exhibit was stunning. The power of seeing the real brushstrokes up close was mesmerizing. Chloe was completely captivated, gasping softly at each piece and pulling me into quiet, intense discussions about them. We lost ourselves in a world of art, completely forgetting about the time and completely forgetting about a certain someone waiting at a top secret location. It was early evening when we finally left the museum. Only then did Chloe seem to remember, pulling out her phone to see a dozen missed calls and a flood of texts from Kevin. She frowned and called him back. "Chloe, where are you? I've been waiting for hours. It's so windy up here. I already have the projector set up." Kevin's voice was a frantic mess. Chloe cut him off, her tone sharp and dismissive. "I'm at the art museum. You could just play with it yourself. I'm tired. I'm going home." She hung up before he could even reply. She took a deep breath and then smiled at me. "Come on, Leo, I'm starving. Let's get something to eat." I smiled back and opened the car door for her. In the car, Chloe excitedly posted to her Instagram story, carefully selecting the best photos from the day. There were several shots of the paintings, and one candid photo I'd taken of her face tilted in thoughtful absorption as she studied a canvas. She wrote the caption, "The best anniversary gift is art that touches your soul. Thanks to the one who gets me." And she tagged me. Within minutes, the likes and comments started pouring in, all from friends gushing about how romantic it was as she got to see such an amazing exhibit with someone who gets her. I could only imagine the expression on Kevin's face, standing alone in the cold wind on some hill, staring at his stupid star projector as he scrolled through his phone and saw that post. His tacky surprise, completely and utterly upstaged. Chloe's Instagram story, with its pointed caption and my tag, set off a firestorm of speculation among our friends. When someone commented asking who the one who gets me was, she simply replied with a sly emoji. No confirmation, no denial. That ambiguity was a statement in itself. One night that weekend, I invited her over to watch a classic romance movie. Halfway through, the main characters shared a passionate, rain-soaked kiss. Chloe, curled up on the couch with a pillow, let out a soft, troubled sigh. "What's on your mind?" I asked gently. She seemed embarrassed. "It's nothing. I feel kind of nervous." "Nervous about what?" "It's just," she bit her lip, "thinking about, kissing Kevin. It feels weird. I don't want to. The thought of it kind of freaks me out." My heart gave a slight cold thud. I shifted closer to her on the couch, my expression one of pure understanding. "I get it," I said, my voice a soothing murmur. "A lot of girls feel that way the first time. You're worried you'll be bad at it, or that you just won't like the feeling. It's completely normal." She looked up at me, her eyes pleading. "So what do I do?" I held her gaze, seeing the confusion and the now familiar reliance on me. I let the silence stretch for a moment before I made my move, my tone light and playful. "Well, what if I help you practice?" Her eyes went wide, and a deep blush spread across her cheeks. What are you talking about?" she stammered, instinctively trying to pull back. "I'm serious," I said with a shrug. "We're just friends, right? So there's no pressure. Think of it like a game, a way to get over your fear. It's better than being all awkward and nervous in front of your boyfriend, isn't it?" I put a slight emphasis on the word boyfriend, reminding her of the person who was the source of her anxiety. She was stunned, her eyes darting back and forth as she wrestled with the idea. Her breathing quickened. "We're just best friends. You don't even have to think of me as a guy. If you're worried about what Kevin might think." "I'm sorry, Chloe. I forgot you even had a boyfriend. We should just forget it," I said, starting to pull away. That was the trigger. Her hesitation vanished, replaced by a flash of defiance. "Forget him," she said, her voice firm. "This is our friendship. Your idea is to help him in the long run. I'm in." "Are you sure, Chloe?" "Don't force yourself. I really don't want Kevin to get the wrong idea. He'd better not. You're my guy best friend. If he can't handle that, then he has no business being my boyfriend." "But Kevin, why are you being so difficult?" I said, "It's fine. Then, I'm coming in. MHM." She was mine. I leaned in. It was a clinical kiss, devoid of emotion, but full of technique. I kept the pace slow, guiding her, showing her that a kiss didn't have to be scary or unpleasant. It could even be enjoyable. After a long moment, I slowly pulled back. Chloe's eyes were still closed, her chest rising and falling rapidly, her cheeks the color of ripe strawberries. It took her a few seconds to open them. When she did, her gaze was hazy, and she couldn't quite look at me. "So?" I asked with a smile. Still scared, she opened her mouth, then closed it, shaking her head slightly as she looked down her lap. I knew, with absolute certainty, that something between us had fundamentally, irrevocably changed. After the practice run, an unspoken, simmering tension settled between Chloe and me. Her eyes followed me with a new kind of dependence, a mix of shyness and the thrill of a shared secret. We never mentioned the kiss, but the boundary had been crossed. And once a boundary is crossed once, it's easier to cross it again. She could just tell herself it was a game between friends, all for Kevin's benefit. Kevin, meanwhile, was slowly clawing his way back from the anniversary disaster, trying to get in touch with Chloe. But every one of his invitations was met with a polite excuse. She'd rather stay at my place, watching a boring movie or listening to me talk about things she didn't understand. And, of course, occasionally practicing. Kevin wasn't an idiot. Her blatant avoidance set off alarm bells. One evening, Chloe was in the shower, her phone lying on my couch. A series of messages from Kevin lit up the screen. "Chloe, can we please talk? What's going on with you lately? Why are you always with Leo? Did he say something to you?" I didn't touch her phone. I just let the messages sit there. When Chloe came out of the bathroom and saw them, she scowled and immediately typed back, "What is wrong with you? Stop being so paranoid." She tossed the phone aside and vented to me, "I don't know what's gotten into Kevin. He's so suspicious all the time. It's driving me crazy." I hid my cold smile, my expression one of deep concern. "Do you think maybe he's under too much stress? Maybe it's affecting him?" "You know." I tapped my temple meaningfully. Chloe stared at me for a second. Then a look of dawning comprehension crossed her face. "Who knows?" she said impatiently. "He's so paranoid and annoying. I think he's just a miserable person who assumes everyone else is as shady as he is." Perfect. His legitimate suspicions were now reframed as a sign of mental instability. A few days later, I ran into Kevin. It was obvious he'd been waiting for me. His eyes were dark and stormy. "Leo, let's cut the crap," he said, blocking my path. "What's it going to take for you to leave her alone?" I looked at him with wide-eyed confusion. "Leave? Oh, yeah. I actually have a business trip in a few days." "Why do you ask?" "Don't play dumb. You know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about Chloe. You're obviously." "Kevin," I interrupted him, my face serious. "I think you really need to take a break. Or maybe talk to someone. You haven't been yourself lately. Chloe and I are best friends. Everything I do for both of you." I clapped a hand on his shoulder, my voice dripping with false sincerity. "Don't overthink things, man. Just focus on being good to Chloe. That's all that matters." Then I walked away, leaving him standing there with a look of choked, impotent fury on his face. For Chloe's mom's birthday, her family threw a small party at their house. As the official boyfriend, Kevin was, of course, invited. I timed my arrival perfectly. I showed up at their door holding a beautifully arranged bouquet of carnations and a gift that was understated but screamed good taste. Chloe's face lit up with surprise and delight when she saw me. "Leo, what are you doing here?" I held up the gifts with a smile. "I heard it was your mom's birthday, and I was in the neighborhood. I figured I'd drop by to say hello and wish her a happy birthday. I hope I'm not intruding." Her mom, hearing my voice, came to the door, her face immediately breaking into a warm smile. In a past life, she had always adored me, thinking I was stable and reliable. "Leo, come in. You sweet boy, you didn't have to bring anything." She pulled me inside enthusiastically. Her warmth was in stark contrast to the polite but cool greeting she'd given Kevin, who was standing awkwardly to the side, holding a generic fruit basket. Kevin's face darkened when he saw me, but he was trapped. Throughout the dinner, I was the perfect guest, charming, witty, and making Chloe's mom laugh constantly. I served her food, engaged her dad in a conversation about current events, and generally acted like the perfect, thoughtful son-in-law. Kevin, meanwhile, was completely out of his depth, unable to get a word in, and resigned to silently eating his food. After dinner, as everyone was having tea in the living room, I found my moment. I sat down next to Chloe's mom and started making casual conversation. Then, I let my smile fade, adopting a look of troubled hesitation. "Mrs. Hayes, there's something. I'm not sure if I should say anything." I began, lowering my voice conspiratorially. "What is it? Leo, you can tell me anything," she said, her maternal concern kicking in. I sighed, letting my eyes accidentally drift over to Kevin, who was fruitlessly trying to talk to a stone-faced Chloe. I'm just a little worried about Chloe and Kevin. His personality is a little. Her ears perked up. What about it? I probably shouldn't get into specifics, I said, looking conflicted. It's just that he seems very quick to get jealous and angry. Chloe and I have been friends for so long, but sometimes look, maybe I'm overthinking it. But he said some really nasty things the other day, just because Chloe did me a small favor. He made her cry. I stopped, letting my expression convey the perfect mix of, I'm only telling you this because I care, and I don't want to cause trouble. He did that. Her face grew stern. For older parents, a young man's character and temperament were paramount. Jealousy, immaturity, a hot temper. These were all major red flags. Please, don't tell Chloe I said anything, I urged, my voice full of sincerity. I just brought it up because I was worried. Maybe he's just young and needs to mature a bit. Hopefully, he'll grow out of it. She patted my hand, her expression hardening. I understand, Leo. Thank you for telling me. You're a good, sensible boy. A couple of days later, an indignant Chloe came to me to vent. I don't know what's wrong with my mom. She keeps telling me Kevin has a bad temper and isn't mature enough for me, and that I should seriously reconsider things. She said I need to find a man who isn't so insecure. He must have been so awkward at the party that he left a bad impression on her. I knew exactly what had happened, but on the surface, I just comforted her. Parents just worry a lot. Don't let it get to you. Chloe pouted. It's not just about his social skills. He really is that petty. It's so annoying. Seeing her growing frustration with Kevin, I knew my gambit had paid off. I had cut him off at the knees. Kevin probably still had no idea why. After doing nothing wrong, he had suddenly been condemned by her parents. 14. The perfect peacemaker. The birthday party incident pushed Chloe's opinion of Kevin to a new low. His repeated attempts to fix things were met with a cold wall, and his own frustration was reaching a boiling point. The explosion happened on a Friday night. My phone lit up with a furious back and forth in the group chat. Kevin, Leo, I am begging you, stop trying to ruin our relationship. Give me back Chloe. Chloe. Kevin, will you stop being so delusional? My issues with you have nothing to do with Leo. Kevin, so what is it then? How long are you going to stay mad? All because I didn't want to see that stupid art exhibit. Chloe, am I the one being difficult? Kevin, grow up. Talking to you is like talking to a brick wall. All you do is whine and complain. Kevin, I'm talking to a brick wall. You spend all day with Leo, I'm sure. You two have plenty to talk about. What is he to you anyway? Chloe, he's 1,000 times better than you. At least he understands me. He doesn't throw tantrums like a child. The fight was escalating fast. I knew it was my cue. I grabbed my keys and drove toward Chloe's apartment. Just as I pulled up, I saw them under a streetlight, locked in a struggle. Kevin was gripping Chloe's wrist, his face contorted with rage, while she desperately tried to pull away, her expression a mask of disgust. Kevin, I strode forward and clamped my hand on his wrist. Let her go. Can't you talk things out like adults? My sudden appearance startled them both. Kevin's eyes, already bloodshot, locked onto me. He was like a cornered animal. Leo, you again. Are you fucking stalking us? I gently pulled Chloe behind me, shielding her. My voice was firm but reproachful. Man, you need to calm down. What are you doing, causing a scene in the middle of the street? What am I doing? He sputtered, his whole body shaking with rage as he pointed a trembling finger at me. If it weren't for you whispering poison in her ear, we wouldn't be like this. You're a manipulative, backstabbing snake. Kevin, Chloe shrieked from behind me. That's not true. Leo has never said a bad word about you. You're the one who's insecure and paranoid. I'm insecure? Kevin looked like he was about to have an aneurysm. All right, that's enough. Both of you. I kept one hand protectively on Chloe's arm while trying to place the other on Kevin's shoulder to calm him down. He flinched away as if my touch burned him. Dude, listen to me, I said, my voice the very picture of reason. You have to be gentle with women, not yell at them. Chloe's just upset. If you give her some space and talk calmly, you can work it out. Then I turned my head slightly, my voice softening as I spoke to Chloe. And Chloe, don't be so angry. He's probably just acting out because he cares about you so much. Try to see it from his side, okay? I stood between them, the perfect mediator. My words seemed balanced, but every sentence subtly painted Chloe as the victim and Kevin as the hot-headed, irrational one who needed to change. "Kevin, you are such a disappointment," Chloe said, her voice dripping with contempt. "Leo is trying to help us, and you're screaming at him. You should apologize to Leo right now." "Apologize to him? I'm your boyfriend. If you don't apologize, then you can stop calling yourself my boyfriend. You're being completely unreasonable." Chloe's disappointment was palpable. "It's okay, Chloe. You don't have to." I sighed dramatically. "Kevin, my man, she just cares about you. You should forgive her." Kevin looked like he was about to vomit. Those were his lines, the ones he used to use on me. "Kevin, look at Leo, and then look at yourself. If you were even half the man he is." Chloe trailed off, shaking her head. That was the last straw. Kevin stared at me, his body trembling, and finally hissed through clenched teeth, "You're good, Leo. You just wait." He kicked a nearby trash can with a loud clang and stormed off into the night. I watched his retreating figure, my heart a block of ice. "This is too much for you, the truth? All I'm doing is giving you a taste of what you did to me in our last life. We're just getting started." I slowly released my grip on Chloe's arm and sighed. "It's over now. You should go up and get some rest." Chloe was still shaken. She looked in the direction Kevin had disappeared, and any last shred of doubt in her eyes vanished, replaced by pure disgust. She turned back to me, her eyes glistening with unshed tears, her expression full of gratitude and reliance. "Leo, thank you. If you hadn't been here, I don't know what he would have done." I patted her back gently. "Don't be scared. I'm here." 15. The late-night confession. Kevin's public meltdown was the final nail in the coffin. Chloe blocked him on everything. Life settled into a new, quiet rhythm. I went to work, and Chloe and I would grab dinner or see a movie, falling into the easy comfort of old friends. But the air between us was thick with an unspoken charge. The way she looked at me was different, less like a friend, more like a lifeline. One night, I had just gotten out of the shower when a text from her came through. "Leo, if I had chosen you back then, would everything be different now?" Huh. If the old Leo, the one who was hopelessly in love with her, had seen that text, he would have been ecstatic. He would have seen it as proof that his love and patience had finally paid off. She was at rock bottom, completely disillusioned with Kevin and lost in her own regret. My constant, quiet presence as her protector and confidant had become the only source of warmth she could cling to. She was looking for an escape, for a reason to justify leaving, and she thought I was it. Too bad for her. I wasn't her savior. I was her karma. I didn't reply. I let her wonder, let her agonize over whether I was asleep, whether I hadn't seen it, or, worst of all, whether I had seen it and chosen to ignore it. That slow burn of uncertainty was the most exquisite form of cruelty. I wanted her to feel, with piercing clarity, exactly what it was like to be ignored, to want something she could not have. "You're feeling regret now, Chloe. It's far too late for that. The Leo who would have dropped everything for you died a long time ago, a casualty of your indecision and his misplaced loyalty." 16. The first time Chloe was a wreck for days. She never asked me why I didn't answer her text, but she was quieter, and when she looked at me, her eyes held a new, mournful quality. The final stage of my plan was set. Years of emotional manipulation had brought her to a peak of dependency. She was desperate for a sign, any sign that she held a place in my heart, desperate to grab onto the lifeline I had so carefully extended. On Friday night, I invited her over to make pizza. She arrived wearing a dress I had once casually complimented, her makeup done with precision. At dinner, I opened a bottle of red wine. She drank eagerly, her cheeks quickly flushing as her inhibitions dissolved. "Leo," she slurred slightly, setting her glass down. "That text I sent the other night. Did you see it?" "I saw it," I said calmly. She seemed taken aback by my directness. Her eyes immediately welled with tears. Then why didn't you?" "Chloe, some things, once they're said, can't be unsaid." "Are you sure you know what you're doing?" I asked. My question sounded like I was protecting her, but in reality, I was shifting the entire weight of the decision onto her shoulders. "I'm sure. I've been sure for a long time." She choked out. "It's over with Kevin. I regret it so much, Leo. I regret not choosing you from the very beginning." She stood up and stumbled over to me, grabbing my arm, her eyes pleading through a film of tears. I know I have no right to say this now, but you're the only one I've ever wanted. It's always been you. I looked at her, at this pathetic, beautiful mess, and felt absolutely nothing. The time was right, and so, I want to give myself to you. Right now. Leo, please take me. I want this more than anything. She closed her eyes, stood on her tiptoes, and pressed her trembling lips to mine. This was no practice run. The net was closing. I scooped her into my arms and carried her to the bedroom. Throughout it all, my mind was perfectly clear. I watched her lose herself in passion, heard her whisper my name over and over like a prayer, telling me she loved me. When it was over, she lay limp in my arms, her face streaked with tears but glowing with a kind of delirious satisfaction. She clung to me tightly, and I knew, with chilling certainty, that I had one. The woman Kevin had dreamed of, the woman he had ruined my life to get closer to, had just willingly given me the one thing he coveted most. And I had never once even told her I liked her. This was the ultimate revenge. I gently brushed the damp hair from her forehead and kissed it softly. Go to sleep, I said. She curled against me and drifted off, a faint, happy smile on her lips. 17. The price of a bride. After we slept together, Chloe cut all final ties with Kevin. She was radiant, glowing with the secret joy of a woman in love, even though we had never defined what we were. But Kevin wasn't ready to give up. After a period of silence from Chloe, his family made a formal move, contacting Chloe's parents through a mutual acquaintance to propose an official engagement. It's so annoying. Can you believe they actually had the nerve to propose? Chloe fumed, and my mom is actually considering it, saying that at least his family is well off. I held her, stroking her hair as I calmly laid out the situation. Your mom is just thinking about your future. Marriage is a big deal, but I don't want to marry him. She protested. The only person I want is you. I know, I soothed. But Chloe, this is also a perfect opportunity. An opportunity to test him and to secure the best possible future for yourself. I explained, my voice low and persuasive. His family is well off, right? Let's see how well off. Let's see what they're willing to pay for you. The engagement ring, the down payment on a house, a new car, these aren't just things, Chloe. They're a measure of your value to them. It's about how much they respect you. I looked into her eyes, my tone serious. You need to make your parents understand that you deserve the absolute best. You need to demand the highest level of financial commitment, the most extravagant wedding they can possibly afford. This isn't about being materialistic. It's about making the Chun family understand that marrying you is a privilege, one they have to earn with a serious, undeniable show of commitment. My words were perfectly crafted to sound like I was her greatest champion, fighting for her best interests. Her eyes began to shine with a new, steely resolve. He was right. After everything she'd been through, didn't the Chins owe her? If she was going to be forced into this, a prospect she still hated, why shouldn't she get the best deal possible? You're right, Leo, she said, her fists clenching. I'm going to go talk to my parents right now. We demand top-tier everything. If they can't meet our terms, the engagement is off. And then, she added, a hopeful glint in her eye, the reason the wedding is off is their fault. And I'll be free to marry you. She stormed off to present her case. As I predicted, armed with my guidance, her parents' stance hardened. What started as disapproval of Kevin's character transformed into a demand for material compensation for their daughter's trouble. The Chun family, who had assumed their financial stability would make this a smooth process, were blindsided by the exorbitant demands, which far exceeded anything they had anticipated. Can you believe it? Kevin's mom called me a gold digger. She said my family was selling me. Chloe complained to me later, furious. That just shows you how little they're truly willing to sacrifice for you, I said calmly. If they're not willing to invest in you now, how can you expect them to treat you well in the future? Ultimately, faced with the Hayes family's unyielding position and unwilling to lose face by backing out a marriage they had already invested so much in, the Chun family liquidated assets and emptied their savings to meet the top-tier demands. The engagement was, reluctantly, back on. Chloe felt no joy, only a grim sense of vindication. And me, in the shadows where no one could see, I smiled a cold, hard smile. How do you like your wedding present, Kevin? Not only did you marry a woman whose heart and body will never be yours, but you also bankrupted your family to do it. And this is just the interest payment. 18. The wedding night. 2 chapters condensed. After the engagement party, Chloe leaned her head on my shoulder, her eyes empty as silent tears tracked down her face. Her hatred for Kevin had reached its zenith. If it weren't for him, for this sham of a marriage, she could be with the man she truly loved, and the man she loved. She turned her head to look at me, calm and collected, and her heart ached with guilt. She felt she was doing me a great injustice, forcing me into the shadows. "Are you angry?" she asked me. "I'm furious right now," I replied, playing my part as I looked into her hopeful eyes. Seeing her desperate, devoted expression, I knew her feelings for Kevin had curdled from dislike into pure loathing. Her every action now was a form of revenge against him, which was exactly what I wanted. On their wedding night, Kevin was carried in by his groomsmen, roaring drunk, and collapsed on the bed. Chloe stood over him, her expression icy with disgust. She walked to the bed and sneered. "You want to touch me? In your dreams. I belong to him now, inside and out. Every part of me is marked by him." She calmly took a small pair of scissors from her purse, pricked her fingertip, and squeezed a few drops of blood onto the pristine white sheets. Then, she struggled to pull off his jacket and shoes, mussed up his hair, and created the illusion that they had consummated their marriage. In her heart, she made a silent vow. "My body and soul will only ever belong to you, Leo." Then she picked up a pillow and walked to the guest room, locking the door behind her. The next morning, Kevin woke up with a searing pain across his back, as if it had been scrubbed with steel wool. He got dressed and saw Chloe at the bathroom sink. "Chloe, last night, you were an animal. You tore my lingerie," she said, gesturing to a pre-ripped slip she'd laid out. She also showed him the bruises on her arms, which she had made herself, and pointed to the scratches on his back, which she had inflicted with a coarse bath brush while he was passed out. "What? I'm so sorry, Chloe. Tonight, Tonight," she scoffed. "Give me a few days. You gave me a panic attack last night." "Oh, okay. I'm sorry." Their married life was a farce. Chloe was at my beck and call. Day or night, a single text or call from me, and she would find an excuse to leave, shopping, a spa appointment, meeting a friend, or she'd just walk out without a word. Kevin tried to be patient at first, but watching his new wife drop everything for another man, again and again, the humiliation and rage began to consume him. The breaking point came late one night when Chloe got a call from me and started to get dressed. Kevin shot up from the couch and grabbed her wrist. "You're going to him again?" His eyes were bloodshot. "Chloe, I'm your husband. Have you looked at the time? Do you have any respect for me at all?" Chloe winced, tried to wrench her arm free. She looked at him with undisguised contempt. "Husband," she laughed, a bitter, mocking sound. "Besides throwing these pathetic, powerless tantrums, what exactly do you do? You're disgusting." "I'm disgusting?" He trembled with rage. "Look at yourself. Since our wedding night, have you let me touch you even once? You spend every waking moment running to another man. Who's the disgusting one here? You didn't even touch her on your wedding night, you fool. Don't you dare project your filthy thoughts onto my relationship with Leo." Chloe shrieked, her voice cracking with fury. "What we have is pure. He would never act like you," throwing a fit like a child. She ripped her arm from his grasp, grabbed her purse, and paused at the door. "I can't even stand to look at you. We're sleeping in separate rooms from now on. It'll be better for both of us." With that, she walked out, slamming the door behind her. Kevin stood frozen in the middle of the room. He had won the marriage, but lost everything else. He had the title, but he couldn't even touch the hem of his wife's clothes. A month later, Chloe sent me a picture, a positive pregnancy test. I stared at the screen, my pupils constricting for a fraction of a second. Then she called. "Leo, I'm pregnant." Her voice was a trembling whisper. "It's ours." "Okay, I know," I replied, my voice flat. "Leo," she sounded panicked. "Take care of yourself." "I'm busy," I said, and hung up before she could say another word. "Kevin, your wife is pregnant with my child. It's time to end this game." After Chloe got pregnant, her excuses to see me became even more legitimate. She claimed she had strange cravings that only food I made could satisfy. She also brought me some interesting news about Kevin. She had found a calendar in his office where he had circled a date a week in the future. Each day that passed, he would draw a large X over it. A countdown calendar. The plot felt strangely familiar. Was this some kind of tragic romance novel trope? A 7-day countdown until he dramatically disappears from her life? Oh, I asked, intrigued. How many days left? He circled a date a week out, Chloe recalled. He started yesterday, so that's 2 X's. 5 days left. 7 days. Of course. A cold smirk touched my lips. So he was living in a novel now? Don't worry about it, I said, setting down my glass of water. Let him draw whatever he wants, as long as he leave you alone. Chloe nodded obediently. She clearly had no interest in Kevin's bizarre behavior, and was just happy he was no longer bothering her. Her main concern was my reaction. Seeing that I was unfazed, she visibly relaxed. I decided I had to see Kevin's little countdown for myself. After all, it wasn't every day that fiction bled so dramatically into reality. When Kevin opened the door and saw me, his face immediately darkened. He blocked the entrance, refusing to move. Hey, Kevin, Chloe asked me to come over and help with something. I called out loudly. As expected, Chloe heard my voice and hurried to the door, a happy smile on her face. She immediately turned on Kevin. What are you doing? Get out of the way. Leo's here to help me move some boxes. Kevin's chest hitched. He shot me a venomous look, but finally stepped aside, his face a mask of cold fury. I walked into their home, and my eyes immediately landed on the calendar on his desk. 6 bold X's. The 7th day, today, was still empty. The final day. Chloe followed my gaze and rolled her eyes. See, that's what I was telling you about. He's acting like a total psycho. I just smiled and went about my business, openly flirting with Chloe and enjoying our easy intimacy right in front of him. The entire time, Kevin just stood in the middle of the living room like a statue, his eyes burning holes into me. Once we were done, Chloe wanted to give me a drink. I, as if suddenly curious, walked over to the desk and picked up the calendar. Kevin's composure finally shattered. What are you doing? Put that down, he yelled, lunging toward me. Chloe returned with a glass of water and glared at him. What is your problem? It's just a stupid calendar. What's the big deal if Leo looks at it? I turned to Chloe, dangling the calendar from my fingers. Hey, Chloe, look at this, I said with a theatrical laugh. He's a grown man, and he's still playing games like he's in some kind of cheesy Netflix drama, counting down the days with X's. I paused, then delivered the final blow. You don't think he's planning on leaving you, do you? How romantic. Boom. The words hit him like a physical force, tearing through his pathetic charade. His bloodshot eyes stared at me, filled with a storm of hatred and humiliation. He opened his mouth, but no sound came out. He spun around and stumbled out of the apartment, the door slamming shut behind him with a force that seemed to shake the walls. Chloe jumped, then her face hardened with disgust. What is wrong with him now? Leo, just ignore him, she fumed. Good riddance. He's been watching too many sad movies. He can't even tell what's real anymore. It's fine, I said, tossing the calendar onto the desk and taking the water from her. He's gone. Now we can continue. Good, she said, her eyes darkening with a familiar heat. Because I'm suddenly feeling very angry again. You want to run? Not before you pay child support.